playing the character in different mediums is well, it's a funny old game. But what you've got to remember with the Doctor is he is devised as a character for the small screen or the screen. So he does work best filmed. Let's be honest. He is not necessarily a naturally theatrical character, although some Doctors are more theatrical than others. Tom Baker is more theatrical than Peter Davison, say, and his Doctor would have worked better on stage than, David Tennant's would work brilliantly on stage, but maybe Sylvester McCoy's wouldn't, And not that Sylvester McCoy would be bad on stage, I'm not saying that, but you know what I mean, it's the approach. It's easier in every respect to do it on camera, because you've got the practicalities, one, of if you fluff a line or you can't remember it, you can go back again. And on stage you have the pressure of everything. You have to remember everything, absolutely everything, all in one go and deliver it in 2 or 3 hours. So you have the main differences between doing something on film and doing something on stage, but they are heightened because people have a perception of the Doctor being a large face on a small screen, not a small figure 20 yards away on stage. So the character is still the same, but there are elements that will change. You have to be louder on stage, and if you're doing an intimate, quiet scene, there's technique that makes it feel like that on stage, but you're still having to do it in a big way and that sort of thing. So, but the character itself doesn't alter. I mean, nowadays, I'm a lot older. It was 20 years nearly since I started doing it, and on stage it was fine then because I was young and energetic, and learning reams and reams of dialogue did not bother me in the slightest. But as you get older, it gets a bit harder and that sort of thing. So the appeal of doing it in another medium is very much now on film. Having said that, if we still had our license from the BBC, it's probably all I'd ever do. Well, I do maybe one Doctor Who show a year and one Swashbuckler, but that's another story. Or maybe even have the Doctor with a sword. Oh, never mind. I still would do it, but I would probably edit more lines to my companions than I would normally take, and write some really obvious cues, because it does impact on you. But there is a difference, and also now I've started doing a few audio plays, which the magnificent Mark Howard has been putting together, and we've had a lot of fun making them. And he writes wonderfully sparky scripts. So of course audio is the best. Oh, because you just don't even have to remember your lines. It's all there, written down in front of you. And you've got to remember your technique, obviously, but you're just going to be the character and be honest, really, and combine it with the technique. Like the audio technique is, imagine the microphone is the person you're talking to. That's your volume and your pitch, and that's how it works. On stage, you have to remember that. On the film, rather, you have to remember that the camera can see everything, and it's like you're in the same room. And I always remember Alec Guinness's thing when he said about the lady who taught him how to act on film at drama school. And she said, there's one thing you have to remember, Alex. She said, what's that? What's the thing you have to do on film? He said, what do you mean? He said, oh, I don't know, tell me. She said, absolutely nothing. And that's the thing to remember, that you underplay it. So it's applying the character to the various mediums. It's not a part you want to say a final goodbye to. It's like that. Not just because it's a nice part to play, and that I'm a massive Doctor Who fan, and it's been very exciting, and I've been very lucky to be able to do it, even in the small way I've done it. But it's a nice part to play. It's one of those parts, like James Bond or Sherlock Holmes or what have you. It's a part that makes me go, oh, it's like that. And I hope that I will carry on doing it as long as I can. But it's not an easy thing to do, because we can't do the stage shows anymore, alas. So the only other way to do it would be through fan films or fan audios. Which thankfully there's a nice big subculture for, and some of them are really, really good. So there's some more audios in the pipeline, that Mark's written, and we've recorded a couple already, which are being sort of tweaked and put together. There's also a fan film we shot not last year, the year before, which for one reason or another is taking a while to edit together and getting finished, which is nice because it introduces a companion. So I don't normally have a companion. It's emerged that way. A couple of times I've been companionless, and, which works fine, but it's nice to have a companion. And Mark envisaged a character for my companion who's played by a lovely actress that we know called Alexandra, who does it really well. And there's another character coming in who's her brother, who's played by the magnificently haired Zach. I say that because he's just got this really amazing hairdo. Anyway, it's by the by. I told him actually, Zach, he was never had a haircut. So that's nice, and so it'd be nice to hear those and see those when they're done. Mark has also written another script which will hopefully go before the cameras next year. I don't know whether he'd want me to tell too much about it, but it'll be the plan is that it'll be a short film with some very exciting costumes in it. Not for me, but for for other people to wear. So there's that. So there are things in the pipeline, and so hopefully I'll get to corduroy it again. In regards to the actual storylines and things, Mark is putting in a sort of a thread with the companion character, which is very interesting. So that's going. But as for the Doctor, I don't know. I'm just happy to do the lines and just do it really. It's a funny part to you try and progress it too much, you might change it, and that can work for some Doctors. I don't know if it worked for mine or not. I don't know. I'm just happy to keep doing it and keep running up corridors, down corridors. Not that I've run up and down that many corridors, but a couple of times it's been nice. I'd like to do. Tell you what I would like. I'd like for us to find a master. It'd be lovely to do a story with the master. It would be nice. We were also planning to do another fairly big fan film, but for one reason or another, it's fallen through. It's very hard unless you've actually done it, unless you've actually or been seriously involved in a fan film or a fan audio. It's very hard to convey just how much effort, not necessarily hard work, but effort has to go into just coordinating it and getting it up and running. And we put so much into Power of the Daleks that for a while we were happy just not to even have to think about it. Great though it was, and very rewarding though it was, screwed. It's a bit like Christmas. You really look forward to Christmas and you love Christmas Day. Once it's over, you think, I have enough now. And then not long after, you start looking forward to it again. But we were going to do, and I'd actually written the script, or most of the script, a story called The Prophecy of Peladon, which was going to be set on Peladon. We're going to have ice warriors and everything like that. But for one reason or another, it's probably not going to happen now, which is a shame. But we might look at incorporating elements of that into other smaller fan films, because to do a big, feature length, for want of a better description, is a gargantuan, Herculean labour. So it might not be possible ever to do that again. I don't know, unless someone wants to send us a huge amount of money and time in a box to do it. But you can't send time, can't email people time, can you? Energy. But there'll probably be some short films coming up, which would be nice. Mark's written a really good script for one, which we're going to have a meeting about soon. So philosophically, I'd like to meet the Master, and maybe the Cyberman. You never know. I've never beaten up a Cyberman before, or chucked a badge for mathematical excellence down its gizzards, which might be nice. And geographically there is stuff coming. So bizarre.